brackets coming up to 20 to 8. The fashion industry has faced criticism recently for appearing to glorify eating disorders and using size 0 models in advertising campaigns.
And now it seems the tide has turned. An M&S ad featuring curvier women has been accused of promoting obesity and an unhealthy body image.
Beautiful and glamorous, or unhealthy and unrealistic. The debate about super skinny models has dominated the fashion industry for decades, but now it's taking a new shape. The demand for real women has led to magazine editors, modelling agencies and brands using more diverse models. Brands like Marks & Spencer and Dove. A victory for curvy women. But one leading GP says it's also a promotion for obesity. She claims using overweight models embraces the notion that fat is fine.
Well, we're joined now by Dr. Ellie Cannon, the editor of Slink magazine as well, Rivki Bam, and plus size model Nesh Hannon as well. Good to see all of you this morning, but this is you that's put the cat in the pigeon, isn't it, Ellie? So we better start with you. Why do you think that seeing images of models that aren't an 8 or a 10 is promoting obesity?
Because it isn't about seeing women who have a normal BMI or a weight or normal waist circumference. My problem with this campaign is it was supposed to show diversity, and whilst more than 30% of women in this country are overweight, that doesn't mean that it's either normal nor healthy. And I don't think that having overweight women in a campaign should be used along with women of different colours and different ages. We shouldn't be normalising.
Those women aren't obese though, are they?
They do use one or two women in the campaign who are obese, yeah.
So just one or two. They're not dissimilar to Nesh. And Nesh looks great to me. It doesn't look overweight. It doesn't look unhealthy. So what's the problem, Ellie?
Because the problem is that we had a big backlash against size 0 models, whereas anorexia affects 1% of women in this country. Obesity affects 30% of women in this country. It is a massive, massive health problem. And unfortunately, criticising people who are overweight or criticising obesity has been hijacked in a sort of politically correct war, and it shouldn't be. I have no interest in the way people look. I have no business commenting on people's appearances. I'm only interested in people's health. And whether people like it or not, obesity is a health problem.
Rivki, your magazine is specifically for bigger women, isn't it? So what do you think of that then? Like it or not, being bigger is unhealthy.
I find that quite surprising as a GP's opinion, purely because you've done it based by looking at those girls. I'm assuming you haven't done any medical tests, you haven't spoken to them, you haven't found out what their diet is, if they do regular exercise. And actually, the problem that we've got in this country is that we talk about body image and we talk about it with health, as opposed to actually finding out whether they're healthy, whether they're eating properly. And you know, you can have a woman that's a size 8-10 who eats junk food, who doesn't do any exercise, and actually size isn't the decider on health.
The other thing, the point that Ellie makes, Nesh, is that this discussion about obesity is almost off limits now because it's likened to talking about race or gender, when actually how much you weigh in a lot of cases is your own choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that, you know, if you are larger size but you're eating healthy, you're exercising, I don't think, you know, that's an issue. And like you say, I know people who are thinner and what they eat isn't great.
Yeah.
Ellie?
But that's absolutely right, but the figures speak for themselves. This isn't my opinion. You know, if you are overweight as a woman, you are 4 times as likely to have high blood pressure. Obesity is the biggest health crisis that faces this country.
I mean, Janet Rogers says, sorry, just a couple ago, we've had loads and loads, hundreds of responses from people. She says, look, well done, M&S, for recognising the needs of women. Curvier people need clothes too. And that is a point, isn't it? This is about wearing clothes. And if you've got somebody who doesn't feel that they're even part of the culture, that they can be fashionable and young, then that has all sorts of psychological impacts, which makes people not want to go to the gym, feel depressed, eat more. Alienating them rather than encouraging them back into what could lead them back to a healthier lifestyle if weight is an issue for them.
I agree with that, but we are running around in circles trying to find the problem here to being overweight and to obesity. And I don't think it's any surprise that M&S is also one of the stakeholders in the food industry. You know, they want us to go downstairs and buy
But
their
you're suggesting
snacks.
that M&S are putting these women on there so they can go and buy more food from M&S.
No, I'm not, but there is a huge problem with the food that we eat in this country and the food that is sold to us.
Okay.
And I don't think M&S and their lovely food do us any favours.
M&S say they're proud of their campaign, by the way, claiming it celebrates women. They add their customers love it too. Is this a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't? We'll have to leave it there. Ellie, Rivki, Nesh, thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning.
The headlines now, waking up to a dangerous superstore.